Hi everybody, welcome back to Reading of Leon. My eyes are still probably red a little bit from the last one, but I'm glad I could be real with you guys. Another topic that's really important to me is disabilities. I have disabilities. Leon does too. We're not sure exactly of everything yet. One assumption is autism. He may also have an auditory processing disorder. He's going next week to see an occupational therapist to look at sensory diet. To see issues with his, kind of has an oral fixation. He likes to put anything and everything in his mouth. I know a lot of kids do that, but it's gotten to the point that he makes himself throw up. We also want to see, because he almost always has to fall asleep next to someone at daycare. He seems to be getting better at it, but here at home he still needs like me or Noel there, and lately he's gotten more into the passy again. So he's going to see someone about that. But I picked up the one, more of the kids' books about, this one's about disabilities. I think it's important to understand that, disabilities aren't caused by people being fat. I have gotten fat because of my disabilities. It's also important not to blame it on things that may not have even caused it. We don't know what happened to make the person the way they are. So we need to be respectful, and some way to do that is also to, say, hey, is it okay if I ask you some questions about, what you got, how you got this? I think that's the best way to broach. Sometimes kids are right blunt about it, but they don't mean anything by it, and we shouldn't say, oh, don't answer that, don't talk to those people, they don't want to. That's not true. We are more than happy to tell you why I'm using a wheelchair at the store today. Oh, my arthritis is really bad, my degenerative disc disease is bad, my fibro is flaring up, and so my feet feel horrible, so I can't walk today. Daddy has to help mommy open the water bottle because mommy's hands are hurting. There's a lot of different things. And some people, the people that have artificial limbs, are a lot of more times more than willing to talk about it. And you can just go up to them and say, hey, Mr., hey, miss, my kid has some questions about your foot, about your leg, about your arm. Maybe they have a dog or a cat. That's their service animal. My kid wants, to ask you about why you have, is it okay? Most are okay, and if they're not okay with it, that's okay too. They have that right. It's their body. Yeah, they're bringing it out, but it doesn't mean, it doesn't automatically make it something that they have to share with the public. So let's get into the book. Oh, by the way, I just didn't say exactly everything that's in the book. I tried not to do that. I tried not to read them before, so I didn't kind of do a whole spiel from it. I kind of wanted to read it along with you guys. That's what I normally try to do. Except for the math grade Google book, I wanted to read it first. So let's get into, this is Better Together. This book is better when read with a grown-up and a kid, or same with my video, having your kid watch the video. This would be great. And any comments they have, if they want to ask me about my disabilities in the comments, or if you have questions about my disabilities, you're more than welcome to shoot some comments and ask your questions, or even shoot me a DM, and I'll be happy to answer there too, whichever way you would like. So this one is by Kristine Napper, kids book about disabilities, and I love the little happy face, because everyone thinks people with disabilities are sad, and that's not true. Robin Williams had a disability. He had depression, and I think he had Parkinson's too at the end, but he was still a happy man. Most of his life, he wanted to bring people joy. I know a lot of people that have sadness that do that, and I think it's just because they want to make people feel happy. And a lot of times, when you have certain things, doing things for others make you feel happy. I used to volunteer at our senior center here before my back got really bad. I'm hoping my hands will get better because I'm one of their major hanger persons, and I'd like to go back and help because that always made me feel like I was doing something. So, Kristine after says, to my parents, Karen and Ken, who have supported me through every dream, every whim, and every obstacle. And it says, kids ask all kinds of questions about my wheelchair. But grown-ups' most frequent question is, how should we talk about disabilities with kids? They want the kids in their lives to be curious and informed, as well as inclusive and accepting. These are great goals. But grown-ups are also afraid of saying the wrong thing or accidentally offending someone. That is true. We have become a society that is very much all about PC. I think it's good to be cautious about things. I almost knocked it off the table. Sorry. I think it's good to be cautious about things, but they also are things that need to be talked about. And I mean, the best thing to say though is to say, yes, that person is missing a limb. That's why they have the metal one. But if you like, maybe we can ask them if you can know more about it. And let me more than tell you, maybe they lost a limb in a war, and they'd be happy to talk about it. I was fighting for our country and this happened, and to kids that sounds like fairy tales. But it also teaches them it's okay to be different. This book can be read with kids who have disabilities, know people with disabilities, or will meet disabled people out in the world. In other words, it's for everyone. I'm trying to remember. I think before 4th grade and before, I had a friend who was deaf. They were actually twin brothers. One was deaf and one wasn't. And so I learned sign language to talk to my friend. One time we did a mean thing. First it was just an accidental signing of the wrong thing, and then we kind of did it as a joke, and I kind of wish nowadays we wouldn't have, but we thought it was funny at the time. But I learned sign language for them, and I think part of the reason it was a little easier for me is I'm deaf in one ear. You try to whisper to me and that, I can't hear you. I have lots of people that try to come over on this side and whisper things all the time, and I have to be like, so they go to the correct ear. But I've never been ashamed to not tell people, oh, it's a birth defect caused by this. And I'm not going to go into all the technical stuff right now, but it's birth defect that caused this side of my face to be smaller than this side of my face. So did draw an ear reconstruction, so I could talk okay, and so it looked like I have an ear. So if I ever had glasses, which I can't even wear glasses, I'm supposed to wear glasses. If I wear glasses, see, I don't have a problem with headband, although right now my head is hurting just a little bit from the headband. That's why I switched earlier. But wearing glasses, I get sores. And I just found out contacts may not be covered by my insurance. But, everyone has something, some story about their life. And a lot of people are willing to share if it's done in a way that they know that you're not going to make fun of them. And some people are naive enough, like me. Sometimes even now today, I still won't get that people are picking on me. But I try to be open and honest, because how are we going to learn what people have been through to get where they are if we don't share and if we don't ask? And I think people, because we've become such a PC society, that it makes us not want to ask for fear of offending. And I'd rather just ask than offend by telling something that isn't true, in my opinion. But sorry, let's continue. I can't answer all your questions, and I can't speak on behalf of all disabled people, just like I can't tell you why someone with MS is the way they are, because I don't have MS. But even fibromyalgia, which is one of my things, is different for everybody. Depression is different for everybody. No disease affects any person the same way. My mom has fibromyalgia, but hers is not the same as my fibromyalgia. She can still work. If I tried to go and do her job, I couldn't, because one, I don't have 2 ears that work. But 2, I can't really sit a long time anymore. You'll probably see me move this way and that way throughout the thing, and it's just to get comfortable, because sometimes now most of the nerves in my back that gave me the problem of being uncomfortable have been burned away with sound, but there are still spots like my hips and stuff that I think still have the nerves, and so I still have to move a little bit. Also my knees hurt a lot, so sometimes you'll see this arm go up and down, and that's just me rubbing my knee. I can tell you about my own experience and help you start some conversations. It's okay if you don't know the answer to every question that might come up. Just talking about your disability helps erase stigma. So let's talk. One more thing before we get into it. I know there's a lot of the funny things out there on YouTube and TikTok about, people coming up, you're not disabled, and they pull off their fake leg, or they pull out a wheelchair. We have no right to judge people that park in disabled if they have the parking sticker, the decal, whatever. We need to let them. I don't have the decal yet, because the car that I'm using is not my car. It was my brother's car. So it does not have a disabled license plate or disabled tag. So I try to park somewhere that's either by a cart corral, so I can push a cart in to use to help me instead of having to get out my walker, or I park close enough that I can go and get the cart. And if I'm walking, just get a regular cart. If I'm going to use a motor cart that day because I'm having a bad day, I get a motor cart. So that's into it. Hi, my name is Kristine. If you could see me right now, you'd see brown hair with a little purple in the front. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Maybe I'll have to do that with mine, although I'm more of a redhead. Dangly earrings, cozy sweater, and a pretty purple wheelchair. See, it's cool. She has a pretty purple wheelchair. And I'm going to turn around so you can see. That's my walker. I call it my barbified walker. My husband put the tape on the handles because my son used to bite it. And then there's purple tape on there now because I had to walk in with it the other day when I came home from the hospital. But usually that one stays in the car, and then I have one that I use in here that's red, burgundy, one of those. My spare, or if I need it enough in the house to use it. Most of the time I can get around without it, but it looks like Kristine calls her walker or wheelchair Lydia. I'm gonna call mine Barbie because it's barbified. That's right, I have a disability. I was born with SMA, which stands for spinal muscular atrophy. It affects my whole body, making my muscles weaker. While I can't stand up and walk around, my chair goes really fast. Zoom! Sometimes when people see me in my chair, they get uncomfortable, they don't know what to say, they talk to me like I'm stupid. Remember, no one who has a disability doesn't mean there are any, even Down syndrome people. There are some amazingly smart Down syndrome people out there. Just because someone has a disability doesn't mean they're stupid. They ask really personal questions. They feel sorry for me, and sometimes they just stare at me with a sad face. There's a boy. He been raising money the past few years for his own bike that has like a trailer thing on the back, which is super cool. it's almost like a whole, that's what I'm looking for, like food truck, but bike, which I think is cool. He can't eat bread and stuff like that, but he sells cookies and little homemade trinkets and stuff every year at the farmer's market. And I really wanted to go this past week, and I forgot totally about it because it was the day after my surgery and I was still feeling a little woozy from the fentanyl. Yeah, I don't think you should feel sad for people that have things. I mean, for me, I've never had an ear, so I don't know what it sounds any differently without having two. I think I hear pretty well, but I can also tune out really well if I want to. Would you like people greeting you this way? I don't think I would. Not just once or twice, but what feels like all the time? Probably not. When they do this, it's not because of my brown eyes, my short hair, and it's not because they're having a bad day. It's because I have a disability. Having a disability means you can't do something the way most people do, so you find a different way. And there are even different kinds of disabilities: physical, intellectual, emotional, learning, behavioral, and so much more. And just because someone has a learning disability too does not mean they're dumb. They just have to look at, like my sister, she is really smart. Gets almost all A's and B's. But she has dysgraphia, which makes writing and hearing words a lot harder. Like, I used to have a cat named Melody, and she would call her Melanie, not realizing that she messed it up. She also spells things like how they may sound rather than, so she almost spells them phonetically instead of the way they're spelled. But once she figured out the dysgraphia, it's helped her a lot. And it's taken a while to catch up reading wise, but her spelling has been a lot better. She still has days and mistakes, and I mean, we don't get on to her for it. She tries her best, and I've always told her, if you try your best on any test, that's all you can do. There's nothing else you can do. If you studied, if you were there at class, or for her, because she's going through chemo too, if you did your lessons, did your homework for that, and she does good. And I try to help her not stress, because I used to be the stressed one. Oh, I gotta be perfect. And the thing that my dad said, if you try your best, that's all that matters, stuck with me, because I was really good at math, but when I went to college, calculus kicked my butt. And I don't know if it's because I was working and going to school and doing that and didn't budget my time right. But I tried my best. I studied, I did the homework, and funny thing is, the homework, I got A's. All my homework. And so I think going to college and wanting to be perfect, I think it got to me. And so I'm trying with my son, trying to instill it in Noel too, so he instills it in him. That as long as you try your best, that's all that matters. You don't have to get 100% or 100 plus the bonus right. You just have to try your best, and if your best ends up being a C, that's okay. As long as you don't flunk, and if you do flunk, we're going to figure it out and help you, so you can do better next time. We're not going to scold you. We're not going to take away your I know Game Boys aren't really thinking, we're not going to take away your Game Boy, any of that stuff. We're just going to help you budget your time. So let's keep going. Sorry, I have lots of thoughts and opinions on stuff. If you guys don't like me talking so much between the books pages, let me know, because I'm just something I kind of like to do. So if you don't like it, let me know. I've learned a lot from living with a disability, so I'd like to share some things with you. The first thing to know about people with disabilities is, what do you think the first thing is? I have an idea, but let's see. We are normal. Did you know that I am normal? I didn't know there was any such thing as normal. I don't think there is, because no person is the same. But I think we're all just people. So yeah. Hold on a second, let me see this. No, I'm not going to take a survey. Okay. Thought it was an important message from my doctor's office, and now they just wanted me to do a survey. Alright. That's right. We are not scary monsters. Did you know I'm not a scary monster? We're not aliens. Are you sure? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm from a different planet. And we're not sad stories. That is true. Bad things, sad things happen, but it doesn't mean that we are sad. I mean, there are times that I'm sad. I mean, I cried and used tissues in the last video. But yeah, we're just people that have had experiences in our life. Normal people come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. What color am I? Am I my favorite color, turquoise? That'd be cool if I got seen as turquoise. Okay. I know now I'm being silly and making up for myself time. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just the way I am. Being normal means being different. So normal is different. If everyone was the same, that would be weird. But being different, having, person that wears cat, zebra, whatever ears, person that wears ears, person that likes wearing big giant earrings, person that likes having tattoos. I have tattoos. I want more. Okay. Having a disability is one of the many ways to be normal. If you understand that disabled people are normal, then you'll have no problem with everything else we're going to talk about. And guess what? Kids, you're usually really good at this. Sorry, grown-ups, who usually not. I think I am, because I just grown up in many different places with many different things. And I've never thought of myself as normal. Because I don't believe there really is anything as normal, like the way that society says normal. Plus, when you grow up having multiple surgeries, which my son did too, so I just hope that he will be good to people that are like me. Kids are good at being curious and respectful, including and not excluding. I think when we look at kids, we should see how we should treat other people most of the time. I mean, my son went to the pool the other day, and first thing is he had on like the little zippy like vest thing, and he was trying to like get in the water. Well, he forgot his arms didn't touch the bottom, so he kind of got stuck there. Luckily, I'm right there, so I just lifted him up by the life vest. That was when he had enough with that area, so we went back to the small baby area. Well, he thought he had found a friend, and the mom was like, "Oh, let's let him play." The kid tried to bite him twice before she was like, "Okay, you're not gonna play with him." And my son was just like, "I'm done now." His thing for all done. So yeah, we laughed after that, but poor Leon, just trying to make friends. But I think most kids aren't that way. I see Leon with kids at daycare and nursery, and there used to be a mom's day out little play group at the church too that Leon would go to. And he had a little friend that had red hair. I wonder if when they go to school they're going to see each other and be happy, because he hasn't seen that boy since the mom's day out. But I know every time Leon was the boy was happy to see Leon, and Leon was happy to see the boy, and they played. Leon likes saying hi to everybody too. He's also a car hoarder, but they're working on that. Let's continue. I could probably spend the whole time talking about Leon. Grown-ups are usually just afraid they'll say or do something wrong. That's true. Because the cancel culture is bad. Oh, How dare you talk about black people that way? I say it to a black person who's been making that joke for years. And they're canceled. They walk out of the show. Yeah, that's not right. So if my disability is normal, how do you think I like to be treated? What does that say? Normal. That's right. Treat me normally. I mean, sometimes for some people you gotta make little adjustments. And if they're deaf, you gotta, if you know sign language, use the sign language. Hey, you know, thank you. Stuff like that. And for me, just a whisper in this ear. I know it's a normal thing. And also slapping me in the back. Please don't slap me in the back. It hurts so bad. Even though it's probably a normal tap that wouldn't hurt anyone else, it hurts me. So sometimes you gotta make little adjustments. But for me, that's my normal. Yeah. You might wonder whether it's okay to help me. The answer is sometimes. There are a lot of things I can do on my own, but some things I do need help with. I might ask you for help opening a door, reaching something off the floor, or taking a cap off marker. I sometimes need my husband's help to open my water bottles. I'm going to be in trouble today if I get done with this one and I can't open because I got to catch up on my water. Well, actually, I've been drinking enough water. I just got to do more because of supposedly I'm dehydrated. If you think I might need help, it's okay to ask. I'll either say yes, please, or no, thank you. But if I say no, please listen, because forced help isn't really helpful, and that's true. If you're used to doing something and the person gets in the way of what you're doing, it may either hurt you or hurt them, depending on what it is. So be respectful that way. Another thing, I do not like being stared at. I think it's funny to do this when people say they don't like being stared at, but I know what they mean. They don't want you watching them and being like, what's in there, kind of thing. If you have a question about me, my chair, my disability, it's okay to ask. Most of the time, it's totally okay. I'm okay with it. People ask me why I'm fat, and sometimes I'll joke, especially when I'm in a sarcastic mood. I'll be like, because I ate too many donuts. But normally I say, oh, because of my illness, I can't move around like I used to, so. And a lot of times they'll ask, why don't you eat less food? And I'll be like, I do. I try to eat healthy. There are times like today, I've been, I think, having a little bit of women stuff. So I'm craving the chocolate. Some questions are not nice, and some questions are mean. Questions like, what is wrong with you? Tell me, how do you use the bathroom? What happened to you? Can you have babies? That's one of the meanest ones ever. Because I know people that struggle for years to have babies. A few of my friends have struggled. Finally, they did have some. Some of them had some. The other ones, they ended up, after a long process, being able to adopt. And I don't think we should be like, oh, you're 35? You better get on having kids. Find yourself a man, get married, and have kids. That's not okay. I know, sometimes it's a blessing not to have them when you want them, because then you're tied to someone that does not need to be in your life. No matter how amazing that child may be. Can hurt you, both you and your child in the end. And I know I have some friends that are just struggling because of health issues right now, being able to try to have kids. And some people are okay not having kids at all. They plan their life, they're not going to have kids. And that's okay. That's their choice. Some people say, oh, my fur babies are my children. That's all I need. I can't handle anything else. And they know their limits. It may change. It may never change. And we need to be respectful of that. I'm lucky I have Leon. there are times where I wish I could have another one, and then with my health issues, I'm like, I'm glad I got the one, because that is what I prayed. I am, a spiritual person that way. Have a relationship with, and I told him, I said, I want at least to experience having a child once, please. And when I met Leon's dad, we're both older, let's just start trying. And it happened. God knew when the time was right for me, and I'm crying a lot today. Leon is a blessing. I call him my little miracle boy. There are times where he can irritate the Jesus out of me when I'm having a bad day. But all he has to do is smile and laugh and go, and I know it's okay. A lot of my health issues really got aggravated after having him, and it's totally okay. I don't blame him for it. It's kind of like consequences of things. It could have been worse if I could have had twins. It could have been even worse. I would have liked twins, one boy, one girl, but that's okay. I got a boy, and I'm blessed. Maybe one day we'll adopt another one, and if we don't, we're gonna adopt all the older shelter animals and take care of them and love them until their end days, if we're able to. Okay, let's move on. Sorry, I get off topic. I think I might have ADHD. Alright, anyways. Try to avoid questions that'll make the other person feel sad or embarrassed. Yes, do think of those questions. Think if someone said those to you, is that something you would like to hear as a question? Instead of saying, what happened to you, being like, so you use a wheelchair, what caused you to have to start using a wheelchair? Or my child wants to know why you only have one leg. Do you feel like sharing? So what do you talk about with a person who has a disability? They're probably going to better things than I would. Anything. Well, that doesn't really help me, because some of the questions are actually, could have been anything, but they weren't respectful. So let's see if they say some things that help us think of good, respectful questions. Here we go. We say, hi, how are you? How's your day going? Ask about movies I like, where I grew up, my favorite ice cream flavor. She likes cookie dough too. I love cookie dough. I love talking about my disability, but it's not the only thing I want to talk about. That's true. I have disabilities, but I also like talking about Dr. Who. The new episode's coming out today. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay. One last thing I want you to know is I am not broken. That is true. Sometimes I feel broken, but it doesn't mean I am broken. I don't need to be fixed. Sometimes I feel like I want to be fixed. To me, I think all I would like is to have a magic wand to get rid of my pain some days, just for a little bit. I'm glad the surgery was kind of a little magic wand. I do still have sometimes a little achiness down there since the surgery, but it's not like it was, where it's fire, stabby, stuff like that. In fact, my disability helps me be a wiser, kinder, and stronger person. But there is something really important that needs to change. What do you think it is? The world. That is true. The world needs some help. There are places I can't go because nobody built a ramp or elevator. That's true. I was watching House Hunters International, and there was a girl that had a disability, and going upstairs was really, really hard for her. So she wanted a place with an elevator. Only one of the places they found had a working elevator. I think they ended up taking the one that had the broken up time, but it was going to be fixed later. But still, I'm like, how after all this time? I mean, I know it's hard in old historical buildings, but what you do is you take maybe what was a closet in the rooms, and go up, if it's near the wall, and turn it into, or put one on the outside that goes up. I don't know. I'm sure there are architects out there that can figure it out, because I'm no architect. I almost never see people with disabilities like mine on TV and movies or in books. That's true. They do the big ones like the cancer, death. Though I do like Doctor Who has used real deaf actors, and in some of the scenes in a couple of the episodes, they took the sound out so you could hear what it sounded like for that deaf person. And kind of made a thing where you could kind of feel like she could feel like, I don't know, something dragging on the ground or knocking against the wall, stuff like that. She could feel it if she put her hand in that area. She could feel the vibration. And then, like in Quiet Place too, that was good. But I think, yeah, we need to, and there are people with disabilities that would love to be acting. Me, one of them. I wouldn't even mind if I just did voice acting. That would make me happy. But, bring them in, use them. I know they have a girl who auditioned for, like, the Glee show that they did to be in Glee. She's now on, like, Broadway and stuff, and one of the first people in a wheelchair on Broadway that's actually in a wheelchair. Stuff like that, I think, is important to put out there, because, I mean, if we just show perfect people, how are kids and people other places supposed to know what people with disabilities, what it's like for them? And there may be people over there that don't have access to health care here that may be able to identify with them and be like, oh, if they can do that, I can do that too. Because people need to know that we can do almost anything. I have a job that I love. I'm a teacher. That's cool. I like that. I hope she has good wheelchair access in her classrooms. I know a lot of disabled people who can't get jobs even though they want to work. Because no job will really work with, oh, I'm having a bad day, I can't come in. Bad flare-up. So try to notice when people with disabilities are left out, excluded, or missing. I know what they mean by that. The world needs to be more accessible. People need to be more inclusive, and disabled people belong everywhere. That is true. That is what normal looks like. Okay, so let's see here. I don't think it personally answered a lot of what I was thinking was going to be answered, but it's still a pretty good, base to go off of for kids, I think. I don't know, in my mind, I'm kind of have a logical, I also have a feeling mind, but it's like half and half. The logical part is I would like more stuff. But I understand it's meant for kids, not for someone that knows what hemifacial microsomia is. That's what caused this. Stuff like that. So, just for people that need a basis. So, I hope this book answered some questions. More importantly, I hope it inspires new questions. I didn't explain every big word or big idea introduced in this book. A book that big wouldn't fit on a shelf, but I hope you'll take the opportunity to dig deeper into anything that sparked curiosity. Yeah, go to your library. If your kids are like, oh, I have a friend in a wheelchair and he said he had spina bifida, or if they say it wrong, if it sounds like that, that might be what it is. You can go look it up. Or I have a friend that's deaf. Can we look up a book on deafness? And go from there. Kids and grown-ups can learn together about different disabilities, interesting people who have disabilities, and how to make the world more accessible for disabled people. As the kids in your life become more comfortable with the world, with the different ways people navigate the world, you might be surprised by their brilliant ideas for improving accessibility. Their open minds and hearts might even help change the world. Thank you for starting the conversations. And so there are more books about bullying, creativity, racism, divorce, empathy, shame, adventure, belonging, failure, money, and anxiety. You can look at your library about the kids books about, or you can go on to akidsbookabout.com and share the reading. I'm going to put that link thingy in there when I post that. And you guys have an amazing day.